Well, with Easter and Passover just around the corner, we're reminded of the challenges couples could face when their religious beliefs differ.
Now, raising children together can add these struggles, forcing couples to wrestle with the issue of religion in their families. So, we are bringing in relationship expert Kat Robey to help with this. And Kat, we're not even just talking about maybe religious differences. There's even views that are different even within a religion. So there's so many different layers to this.
That's why it's so important to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully before a commitment, that's for later, but yeah, there's differences within religions, and then there's having one versus maybe not being sure, or definitely not having one, or what is spirituality versus church religion. I mean, so many variations for people. And then what I have kind of recognized, just in my own practice with people, is their experiences, for better or for worse, also color whatever that religion or spiritual belief is, because you have people say the word recovering Catholics. Okay, that's not everybody's experience, but that's some people's really like, I can't do this anymore, I can't be anywhere near this religion, it does this, and then it gets into politics, it's a huge category of discomfort.
And I think that's exactly right. Some people do really have a hard time talking about religion. Some people, it's not a big deal at all. Right. Now, maybe for some of our viewers that are watching that haven't had that serious talk with their partner yet, what are some tips you might give them to kind of get that conversation started?
Well, I think before you even talk about it, I think you need to know where you stand on your beliefs. So if it's a deal breaker that the other person really should share your beliefs, then you should date people who fit that scenario. And that's where things like J-date are out there for Jewish couples to come together, and so that's an important piece of it. And then after that, if you feel like it's something that you don't necessarily have to have as a deal breaker, then when you're talking about it, talk about the importance it is for the other person. Talk about, well, what would happen if we were raising children? Would you want to pick one religion or another, or let the children decide, or educate them on all kinds of things? Just open up the gates from where your values coincide. It's a much easier discussion to say, like, all of or both of these religions focus on this as a value, or this as a point of view, or family is important, or whatever the core is that you can then discuss, like, well, how can we create a family system around that? Is it possible? And yeah, it's kind of a frightening discussion to have really early on, because it has implications of where this might be going, and that may have not been discussed yet. But really, like I said, if it's an important issue for you, you need to speak about it sooner than later, because after the children or after the marriage is a much bumpier conversation.
And when you're talking about a couple and conversations that they have, we may converse about finances, or we may converse about things, and that becomes a very couple personal thing. But when it comes to religion, I feel like extended family somehow has more of an influence on that amongst your immediate family. How do you deal with, maybe you guys are okay with raising your children like this, but maybe in-laws aren't, or grandpa and grandma aren't?
Right. That's a really great question. And in terms of what to do specifically, I think, again, you've got to be able to say what you need. So if you're feeling like you're getting pressure from anywhere outside of your coupledom or in your family, that you're able to speak to that and say, this is what we're doing, this is how it makes sense to us, I would love your support on it. And maybe you get to a point where if they can't, then this can't continue to be a topic. Or, when they're at your house, you can celebrate how you like. When they're at our house and when you're with us at our house, it looks like this. We'd love to have you with us, but just being able to put some parameters around it that are comfortable for everybody.
I think that's really great advice, and important advice, too, being in a relationship. Now, I'm wondering, in your professional opinion, Kat, do you think it is possible to raise children in a household where maybe there are two different faiths?
I've seen it. It's fantastic. I have good friends that celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah and Passover and Easter and mold them together and talk from their hearts, from their spirituality, and from their family experiences, and all kinds of ways that they bring their history to life in so many beautiful ways. And I think it's beautiful, because at the end of the day, what's important in their connection is love, is family, is connection, is some sort of greater connection to whatever it is that they believe in. So I really do think that it can be successful when both people are going in with an open mind and finding that core thread that can be part of any of these good faith religions.
So maybe if you are in a serious relationship. Don't get discouraged if you don't agree on religion, because there might be a way to do it.
Absolutely.
That's great. It's great to hear, because I mean, it's, you know, there's so many different viewpoints in this country, and I think it's really important to say that out loud, that it is okay to have different opinions and different faiths.
Definitely.
So thank you. I think this was a really great topic today.
Thank you.
Kat, thank you so much. And to get more tips to optimize your relationships, just call Kat at 906-3392 or go online to robeycounseling.com.